WINS-FM in HD1 New York.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The rain this afternoon is going to continue into this evening. We are going to get an update from AccuWeather's Brian Thompson in just a moment on your holiday forecast. More people get their news from 1010 Winds than from any other radio station in the nation. Angela Loria is our service aide. Sarah Milano is at the editor's desk. I'm Lori Metten.
At the closing bell on Wall Street, this is Andrew O'Day of Bloomberg. Higher finish for the market. The Dow closing up 664. NASDAQ up 154.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Winds at 92.3 FM, New York.
We're getting there. 54 degrees now with light rain falling at 4 o'clock. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. Yeah, let the holiday travel period begin. Is at full throttle, actually. A lot of folks have been filing out of here since last Friday, but it's really starting to heat up now. They say today, tomorrow, and Sunday will be off the chain. Stand by a minute. Cops looking for a couple of crooks pretending to be mobile mechanics who just bilked a poor lady out of $4,000. This happened on Staten Island. An indictment announced in the savage murder of a woman in Harlem found with 20 stab wounds. Today, her ex-boyfriend officially charged. So have you ever thought about what it would happen if you pushed away from social media for, let's say, a week?
When I first deleted it, my muscle memory would make me tap on where the app used to be.
So integrated into my daily life.
Yeah, a survey says if you do push back, you could significantly improve your mental health. We'll talk more about that. And a DoorDash run, which turned into a door smash run. That is, cops say a delivery guy was allegedly smashed sitting in his car at a red light. Never finished the run. Wait till you hear the rest of this one. 10-10 Winds AccuWeather, cloudy with rain coming in later. We'll get up to a high of 56 and then down to 50. Winds News Time 4:01, and from your Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com traffic center, let's get you where you need to go. Here's Mr. Greg Rice.
Eastbound Long Island Expressway, the worst way home through Queens because we've got trouble in Nassau. Eastbound Long Island Expressway at New Hyde Park Road, you got the HOV lane shut with the remnants of a crash. That's why the LI is the worst way home through Queens, and that's not it with the Long Island Expressway. Westbound, getting out of Suffolk, heading back to Nassau at Bagatelle Road, you got a couple of left lanes out. The HOV and left lanes are blocked on the westbound side of the LI before 110, and that's an absolute mess all the way back to Deer Park Avenue. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Getting you out of town at the George West Side Highway, sloppy out of the 70s, but everything else is worse. Citybound George, that's gotten better for now. We'll see how long that lasts. No more than 10 minutes on either level. Looking at the Lincoln Tunnel, the outbound ride 30 minutes from 11th, a little better from 9th, and the outbound Holland, double it. It's now an hour out of Lower Manhattan, only getting worse on the Skyway either way, but especially outbound. The Newark Bay extension is so much better either way. City-bound Midtown Tunnel, Brooklyn-bound Brooklyn Bridge, the worst of it across the East River. Upper East River offerings, they all offer a mess. The Throgs Neck, Bronx-bound, the best of it. Queens-bound, looks like the Whitestone might be the best of the bad bunch, but that doesn't make it good. Greg Rice, 1010 Winds at 92.3 FM.
And we are already getting a little rain around here, but AccuWeather says not to worry. It's probably going to burn off by tomorrow morning. And on the other side of it, Thanksgiving Day should be decent, but a bit blustery on Thursday morning. That brings us to AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson in the Weather Center. Brian, let me ask you this. Does blustery mean windy and possibly a reason to wonder if the balloons are going to be okay for the parade? Will the wind get to that level that we need to be concerned?
It's going to be close to that level, Larry. I think for the most part, it'll remain under the threshold that the balloons can't fly. They may be flying maybe a little lower, as we'll be looking at winds gusting to 30 or 35 miles per hour. The threshold they look for is about 34 miles per hour for wind gusts, where it becomes a little more dangerous to fly the balloons. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Like I said, it's going to be a close call Thursday morning, but we'll be watching that over the next couple of days. After we get through some of this rain tonight, we have some rain moving through now that's going to be with us through the evening hours. There could be another push of some rain toward daybreak tomorrow as well, and we'll still be dodging a couple of showers tomorrow, but a good chunk of the day, especially into the midday and afternoons, is going to turn out dry. And after it warms up into the 60s tomorrow, then it turns much colder, highs in the 40s with that gusty wind Thanksgiving Day. But at least, Larry, the sun's going to be out most of the day.
Okay, good call. Thank you, Brian. Also, keep keeping in mind the weather might slow you down tonight, folks, if you're traveling by car. A little rain on the freeway or whatever. AAA says between now and 9 o'clock, it's going to get real.
90% of people will be driving. That's 73 million of you. The busiest days today, tomorrow, and Sunday. The worst time to hit the road today is between noon and 9 p.m. Tomorrow, you're going to want to get going before 11 a.m. And here's another big number for you. 1.2 million people will be taking a train.
Gio Benitez reporting. By the way, the average price for a gallon of gas, if you're driving, is up. It's about $3.07. Though it can go as high as $4.60, I'm seeing in some parts of the country. Safe travels, everybody, nonetheless. Well, 'tis the season, and police say the early Scrooges are out there, ripping people off already. Police on the lookout for a pair of guys who tricked an 82-year-old woman out of nearly $4,000. It had nothing to do with Christmas, though, but they say they pulled up to her in the parking lot of a shopping center at 2873 Richmond. This is Staten Island. Told her, ma'am, your vehicle needs to be repaired because you ran over something. She doesn't know, 82 years old, so she even bothered to look. But police say they told her, you're in luck, though. We happen to be mechanics, and we can fix it for you. If you go to the ATM and withdraw about $3,800, doesn't that make you mad? Anyway, she says they took off in a white minivan with her money with Pennsylvania plates. I got a picture of that van. If any of this jogs your memory, they want you to call Crime Stoppers, 800-577-TIPS. Took mama's money. Tell you what. Well, on a more giving note now, the Met Council doing some big things this holiday season to make sure food-insecure families and first responders are taken care of this holiday season.
Many of these people in the South Bronx, like Michelle, went nearly 2 weeks without SNAP benefits and are just getting back on their feet.
It helps my family out a great deal. I appreciate everything I got. I have 3 kids, and times are hard.
The Met Council is one of the sponsors of this event, giving away over 1,000 turkeys, and CEO David Greenfield says they were emptied out during the shutdown.
We're talking about millions of pounds of food. We made a pledge that during the government shutdown, we supply food to 200 pantries in New York, and not a single pantry would go dry.
They got a big donation to restock, making this event possible. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
All right, everybody, the challenge is out there. There's a study suggesting we should all try to find at least a week to take off and push away from social media. 1 whole week. Boom. There's research which says if we do that, it could do wonders for our mental health.
The study found just a week off social media reduced anxiety, depression, and insomnia in young adults. Everett, a college freshman, said he's deleted apps off of his phone.
Felt like a lot of the time, instead of doing my work or something productive, I would look to get that next dopamine hit.
A digital detox would be tough though for Leah, who is still in high school.
I think it distracts me the most from my schoolwork. There are so many instances where I come home from school and just go on TikTok and forget about my schoolwork.
Yeah. The study found one positive. Participants said they felt less lonely when they were online. Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM at NYU.
Accessibility improvements announced today at the Church Avenue subway station in Brooklyn. MTA Chair Jan O'Lever says there are new turnstiles, an accessible gate for passenger circulation, modern fare gates at that, and a countdown clock. Also built a third entrance to the station and 2 new staircases, too. They upgraded the ADA boarding area, including elevators. One of the other bigs, though, and one of the biggest gripes, they've upgraded the map for disabled riders.
We are changing the map so that the map for people with disabilities, for seniors, for parents with strollers, for everybody is the same as the map that you see on the subway car walls.
Lever says every New Yorker should be able to use the subway with ease and without having to, guess which way to go and where to find accessible amenities. The mayor of our nation's capital will not seek re-election next year.
Mayor Muriel Bowser made the announcement via video.
It has been the honor of my life to be your mayor. But today, with a grateful heart, I am announcing that I will not seek a 4th term.
Mayor Bowser, who has served for 10 years, will be leaving amid President Trump's federal intervention, including deployment of National Guard troops. But she says she's not leaving right away.
For the next 12 months, let's run through the tape and keep winning for D.C. Thank you, D.C.
The race for mayor will now be the first open race in D.C. in 20 years.
Linda Kenyon reporting. Bowser added she accomplished everything she set out to do as mayor. Oh, Tuesday is almost a wrap, everybody. Let's see what these roads are doing here. Wins news time for 11 from your Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com traffic center. Get us to the house, Greg Rice.
Yes, it can get worse across the Hudson, like at the Lincoln Tunnel, where there is a breakdown in the outbound North Tunnel. So off of 11th Avenue, we are looking at a 40 to 60-minute ride. At the outbound Lincoln, you want to go to 9th Avenue, where it's not nearly that bad. Inbound Lincoln Tunnel at this point, no more than about 10 minutes. The Holland Tunnel is an hour out of town. And on the Jersey side, yeah, the Newark Bay westbound's getting bad, but the Skyway is worse. George Washington Bridge, the city-bound side, about a 15-minute ride on the upper. Lower's better. West side sluggish out of the 70s, and that's the best of what you've got. Getting out of town, northbound Deegan, best out of the Bronx. Long Island Expressway westbound over at Bagatelle Road. You got a crash, and only the left lane is going to get by. It's an absolute mess as a result. Eastbound LA at New Hyde Park Road, the HOV lane still blocked because of a crash. Northern State Parkway, if you're not in a truck, it's not perfect, but it's a whole lot better. In the Bronx, Bruckner Expressway, we are looking at a westbound crash in the left lane coming down to 149th Street, making a mess of things in either direction. The problem is, the Cross Bronx isn't going to be any better. It's going to be worse. You're loaded either way between the George and the Bruckner interchange, either way on that Cross Bronx. Through Westchester, it's no longer perfect, but it's still better on 95 either way, instead of dealing with the Hutchinson River Parkway. Greg Rice, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
And now your AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Meteorologist Brian Thompson here now with this live report.
Larry, raining now across most of the tri-states. It's mostly a lighter rain, and that's going to be the case through the rest of this afternoon and even into the very early part of this evening. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a heavier shower or two that comes through later on this evening as some of this rain wraps up, and then we make it into a bit of a break before additional showers move in very late tonight into early tomorrow. So we'll have a low near 50 early tonight. So that's probably going to occur sometime in the next several hours, and then temperatures will actually rise through the 50s overnight, and it'll be a pretty warm day tomorrow with clouds and a high of 62. And again, a couple of showers, but by no means is it going to rain all the time. Perhaps a spotty shower early tomorrow night, then increasingly windy as it turns out, partly cloudy, low 42, and a blustery, chilly Thanksgiving day with sunshine and some clouds, high 46. AccuWeather real field temperatures in the 30s. Windy and cold Friday with more sun than clouds, even a few flurries, high 43. Raining and 52 degrees right now in Midtown. We're going down to 50. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
The consumer product safety folks are trying to get an e-bike battery maker to issue a recall about its batteries. Meantime, they're telling people to stop using them for some of the same reasons New York has been sounding the alarm for years.
The agency has received 31 reports of the lithium-ion batteries made by Seattle-based Rad Power Bikes igniting or exploding and causing fires.
Each Rad Runner comes with a suite of new superpowers.
Some of the fires started when the batteries were not being charged or used. The warning says customers should remove the batteries from their bikes and dispose of them. Rad Power Bikes insists its batteries are safe. It's refusing to agree to a recall.
All right, that's Michael Wallace reporting. By the way, if the CPS Commission feels strongly enough about a product, well, they can issue a mandatory recall if the manufacturer won't do it voluntarily.
Oh, wow, man.
Keep you posted on this one. Just in time for Thanksgiving, you get a refund checking. You get a refund checking. You get a refund check. Governor Hochul says more than 8 million inflation refund checks are in the mail, with about 3.5 million beneficiaries here in New York alone. She says it fulfills her promise and commitment to putting more money in New Yorkers' pockets. It's okay. The governor says we followed through on our commitment. We'll keep on looking for additional opportunities to deal with the nation's ongoing affordability challenge. The money was secured in the 2026 state budget. It is the largest program of its kind in state history at a cost of $2.2 billion. Over the last 2 months, inflation refund checks of up to $400 have been mailed to those who meet eligibility requirements. She says the biggest part of the check mail-outs is done, but the state tax department is still clearing, additional taxpayers who are eligible, so more checks will soon be going out. But for the first time in history, retail sales for the latter part of the year expected to top $1 trillion. That includes people who will be shopping online. But some data points out, unfortunately, retail thieves know that.
You've begun your holiday shopping when an ad for the perfect gift crosses your social media feed. Click the link and be taken to the seller's website. Maybe.
I've seen them create these very deceptive marketplaces for toys and presents.
Former FBI cybersecurity expert Eric O'Neill says the ad on your feed could be fake, so
look at the company that purports to be selling it and go directly to their website.
The Better Business Bureau says online purchase scams are among the most most common reported by consumers. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Dodger superstar Shohei Ohtani announcing on social media he'll play for Team Japan in the 2026 World Baseball Classic, the WBC. Japan looking to repeat after winning gold in the 2023 Classic. Ohtani was named the tournament's MVP and memorably struck out former Angels teammate Mike Trout as for the final out of the deciding game against Team USA. Ohtani was back on the hill this past season after not pitching for nearly 2 years. You know, he had that ligament repair. He didn't say in his post if he would actually be pitching for Japan, just that he would be with that team. Ohtani is coming off a second straight World Series title meantime with the Dodgers, don't we know it, and was awarded his 4th MVP award earlier this month. The WBC starts on March the 5th with Japan in Pool C, the U.S. team in Pool B. Team USA has already got commitments from stars like Aaron Judge, among others. Down in Florida, police say they spotted a DoorDash guy riding dirty, that is, tore up from the floor up. Say he must have been sipping on some holiday cheer in advance. Well, this is what it sounded like on body cam when they spotted him.
Put the car in park. Get out.
25-year-old Luis Estrella, and they say, well, he told him he was on his way to make a delivery and was actually concerned that people wouldn't get their food.
The address that he had on his DoorDash, on his GPS, is that where he was going?
So guess what? The officers figured out where he was going and delivered the food themselves. Isn't that something? Old buddy, meantime, is charged with driving on a suspended license and DUI. Headlines are next. 10-10 wins at 92.3. We are moving at the speed of New York.
All news, all the time. This is 10-10 wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
54 degrees and light rain in some spots at 420. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. Yeah, the skies are back just in time for Thanksgiving holiday. AAA says now the FAA has given the green light to stop restricting flights. Everybody's flying home to see Mom and Pop this week. On Fifth Avenue, no, you are not seeing things nor smelling things. As it were, if it smells good, it's because of luxury brands that are piping in some nice scents to replace what you normally smell. They gave a media preview today of that new Everybody Loves Raymond exhibit on Long Island. It's an exhibit which celebrates 30 years, opens to the public on Friday. The early reviews are in, says it's a great place. Tesla hauled into federal court by a family who says a design flaw caused the Model 3 to suddenly speed out of control before crashing into a utility pole. One woman was killed. And the Netflix reboot of Star Search has tapped Anthony Anderson to host, set to release in January. 10-10 wins AccuWeather tonight. Rain with a low near 50 degrees. Wednesday news time, 421. From your Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com traffic center. Let's get you where you need to go. And here is Greg Ryan.
You knew the ride out of Brooklyn heading for Staten Island was going to be bad today. How bad is it? Oh, let us describe it. Westbound Belt bumper to bumper and crawling from Flatbush Avenue over to the Verrazano. Outbound Gowanus isn't great either from the Belt Split. Staten Island bound Verrazano, Narrows Bridge. Do you want the view or do you want to stay low? Because both levels of the Verrazano Staten Island bound absolutely crawl. And then the westbound Staten Island Expressway messy the whole way over to the West Shore Expressway. Nassau County, you are not having it on the Long Island Expressway eastbound. Getting over to New Hyde Park Road, the HOV lane is closed, and that's enough to make a bad line worse on the eastbound LI from the Midtown Tunnel all the way to Nassau. Long Island Expressway westbound over at Bagatelle Road. You got the HOV lane blocked with a crash. Eastbound LI getting over to Bagatelle. They've also blocked the HOV lane. But the Northern State Parkway either way east of the Seaford Oyster Bay. If you're not in a truck, it is going to be a much better idea. Bruckner, Bronx side of things, westbound before the RFK left lane out with a crash. And in Westchester, stay with 95 instead of the Hutch. Either way, it'll save you a little bit of time. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. City bound to the George, an extra 15 on the upper, lower's better. West Side Highway, yeah, it's sluggish out of the 80s on up, but everything else is far worse. Outbound Lincoln Tunnel, 11th Avenue approach, about an hour because of an earlier breakdown. 9th is a little bit better. 60 to 90 home at the Holland. Skyway, the worst of it either way on the New Jersey side. Greg Rice, 10-10 wins at 92.3 FM.
A little bit more than a week now since the FAA lifted flight restrictions on us as a result of the government shutdown, and already millions of people are traveling the globe for Thanksgiving. By some estimates, it could be the busiest Thanksgiving at airports in 15 years. People with all that bottled up travel energy ready to bust out. Gobble, gobble, gobble.
It's as much a tradition as turkey and pumpkin pie. Packed airports in the days before Thanksgiving. This year, the TSA expects to screen some 18 million people from today till next Tuesday. And officials promise they are ready for the crowds.
For us, this week is our Super Bowl. And I'm here to tell you we've got a great plan. We're past the laps. Controllers are back at work. They're excited to be back on the job. They're excited to be compensated to be back on the job.
The travel chaos during the government shutdown is now in the rearview mirror.
Officials project 70 million folks will travel 50 miles or more during the Thanksgiving holiday. Today, tomorrow, and Sunday afternoon, they're saying it will be fierce. You'll notice more cars on the road, too. A lot of people had already scrapped their air travel plans during the shutdown and opted to drive to Grandma's house. So look out for that. Okay, so here's a new one. They're smelling up a stretch of Fifth Avenue just in time for the holidays. Gone are the smells of weed, cigarettes, vehicle exhaust, fill in the blank. And they've teamed up with a luxury brand that'll pipe in more pleasant aromas. Listen to this.
It's a sensory experience walking along Fifth Avenue this holiday season. Stefania and Federico are visiting from Argentina. Are you smelling the pine scent?
Yeah, that smells so good.
Yeah.
It smells so beautiful.
When you walk down the street,
that's true.
it's nice.
It's very nice. Amazing.
Very nice. Very nice.
I can say unique.
Pine, cinnamon, the festive plantings and decorations now emitting a scent for a more pleasant street encounter. Patty from Pittsburgh says it beats the alternative.
Oh, no, believe me, it's better than some of the smells.
But we know what she's talking about. Juliet Papa, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
You know, I could go there on this story, but you know what? I need this job. Christmas is coming up. I got grandbabies to buy stuff for, so I'll leave it at that. And now Bloomberg Money Watch.
1 month to Christmas and 3 days to Black Friday. It is fitting that today we're getting a lot of news about retail. We're hearing from 4 store chains, Abercrombie & Fitch, Best Buy, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Kohl's, each raising their sales forecast. But that optimism might better reflect how those retailers are doing than how most consumers are doing. Today, we also got the Conference Board's November Consumer Confidence Index showing the biggest drop since April on growing economic anxiety. Speaking of growing, though, we have the indexes on Wall Street. Dow up 1.5%, 664 points. NASDAQ up 154. S&P rising 61. The support is sponsored by Fidelity. I'm Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Thanksgiving, so we bake like 4 pies, 2 turkeys, 8 different types of potatoes, and we have like a huge fruit platter. Gobble, gobble.
This holiday, you can serve more than a meal. You can provide a lifeline. Find out how at foodbanknyc.org. 1010 Wins, because we are better together. Wins News Time, 4:30.
Good afternoon. I'm Lori Metten. Everybody loves Raymond and Stony Brook. That's where the Long Island Music and Entertainment Hall of Fame is rolling out a new exhibit.
If you are a huge Everybody Loves Raymond fan, you will recognize many of the items in this exhibit.
We have the toaster, the Christmas toaster. We have the canister, Shamsky's dog collar.
Long Island Music and Entertainment Hall of Fame designer Kevin O'Callahan says, yes, you can sit on the flowered couch in Raymond's living room.
The set itself is filled with original things. The original coffee table, the original chair.
Executive producer of the show, Rory Rosegarden.
It was funny then, it's funny now.
The show was based on Long Island. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Stony Brook, Long Island.
Wins News Time, 4:31. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Greg Rice.
Now, Lori, there's just enough rain falling everywhere, overspreading the area to make everything that much worse. Not that we needed the help leaving Brooklyn, where it's getting worse on its own. Outbound Gowanus before Fort Hamilton Parkway looks like a broken down truck in the right lane, making a mess from Industry City, and then more company after Fort Hamilton Parkway from Dyker Heights onto the Staten Island bound Verrazano. Westbound Belt's worse. That's routed from Rockaway Parkway all the way back to the bridge. Both decks of the Verrazano Staten Island bound are crowded, and then more company awaits on the westbound Staten Island Expressway all the way to the West Shore through Jersey. Garden State Parkway northbound slows pretty much out of Woodbridge, all the way up to Clifton. Southbound slows from Bloomfield coming back to the Turnpike. South of the Newark Bay Extension, it won't be pretty, but the Turnpike will be better than dealing with the Garden State Parkway south of the Newark Bay Extension, at least that is. On Long Island, eastbound LI getting you out towards New Hyde Park Road, HOV lane blocked with a crash. That's why the eastbound LI is so slow through Queens all the way out to Nassau. LI also slow either way to 110 where they're getting rid of a crash and getting all lanes reopened. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Citybound George back up to 30 on the upper, 15 on the lower west side. Best of it out northbound Deegan, best out of the Bronx. Looking at the Holland Tunnel, 60 to 90 minutes out of town. On the Jersey side, Newark Bay, lesser of two evils. Outbound Lincoln, 40 to 60 minutes from 11th because of an earlier breakdown. You're better off from 9th if you can swing it. Inbound Lincoln about 15 minutes. And the ride right now in Westchester, it's not great on 95, but it's worse on the Hutchinson River Parkway either way. Greg Rice, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check now of your AccuWeather forecast. Here's meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Lori, we've had rain really falling across much of the area over the last hour or two, and it's going to rain most of the time, it looks like, into the evening hours tonight before it becomes a little more intermittent as the night goes on. Now, temperature-wise, we'll see a low close to 50 early, which is pretty close to where we are now, and temperatures will be slowly on the rise during the overnight hours. We'll have a mostly cloudy sky tomorrow. It's going to be warm with a couple of showers, a high of 62, increasingly windy for tomorrow night with a spotty shower early. Then it will turn out partly cloudy with a low of 42. And by Thanksgiving Day, that's when the cold air really starts to settle in. It will be a blustery day. Winds could gust to 30 or 35 miles per hour. We'll have a decent amount of sunshine Thanksgiving Day, a high of 46. AccuWeather real field temperatures, though, will be in the 30s. And still windy and cold Friday with more sun than clouds, high 43. Light rain and 52 degrees right now in Midtown. We're going down to 50. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Are you ready for the holiday? Shopping for the big meal is in full swing this afternoon.
It's time to stock up on all of your favorite ingredients. Marissa and Callis are going big.
Turkey, he's making lasagna, rice, Cornish hens, ham, probably like some cinnamon rolls.
Maya started her day at Costco.
I gotta get the turkey, I gotta get the stuff for the stuffing, ingredients for my carrot cake and cheesecakes and stuff.
But she says she's far from done.
It's a fruit trifle. What else? Some fruit, a fruit platter, cheese board.
Be sure to make a shopping list because the countdown to Thanksgiving dinner is on. Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM at Costco in Sunset Park.
The family of a woman killed in a Tesla crash in Washington State is suing, saying design flaws in the Model 3 led to that fiery accident. The suit also says a defect with the door handle design thwarted bystanders who were trying to rescue Wendy Dennis from the vehicle and her husband Jeff, who was driving. The lawsuit says the Tesla suddenly accelerated out of control, crashed into a utility pole, and burst into flames. Tesla has not commented. Israel says the remains of a person believed to be a hostage have been delivered to the Red Cross. It was not immediately clear if the remains were those of one of 3 hostages remaining in Gaza. Palestinian militants have released the bodies of 25 hostages since the U.S. brokered ceasefire on October 10th. Israel has released the bodies of 330 Palestinians back to Gaza. A former Pope mobile is getting a new life.
The late Pope Francis visiting Bethlehem more than a decade ago. Now, the converted Mitsubishi pickup donated for that visit by the Palestinian Authority has been transformed into a mobile pediatric clinic bound for Gaza. Cardinal Anders Arborelius of Stockholm.
This vehicle stands as a testament. The world has not forgotten the children of Gaza.
The initiative was blessed by Francis himself before he died last April.
That's correspondent Vicki Barker. 54 degrees now, raining here in the city. We are going down to 50 degrees tonight. The station you know, the people you trust.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good afternoon. 52 degrees at 4:40. I'm Lori Madden, and here's what's happening. The holiday travel rush is on, with air travel expected to be busiest through this evening. We'll get an update on the roads and rails in a moment from our Greg Rice. The Aton Pates child disappearance case going to trial for a third time. That 4-year college degree isn't helping a record 25% of unemployed workers. More arrests are made in connection with the Louvre heist. The National Zoo is expecting, for the first time in 25 years, an elephant calf is on the way. 1010 Winds AccuWeather says this rain will continue through this evening, low 50 degrees. Cloudy and warm tomorrow with a couple of showers, high 62. Wednesday's time, 4:41. From the Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com Traffic Center, let's get you where you need to go on this very busy afternoon. Here's Greg Rice.
Yeah, Lori, quick check of the airports. 30-minute departure delays at LaGuardia, but that's it. JFK and Newark and arrivals at LaGuardia. The rest of it is on or close, but definitely check your airline's app before heading out just to be safe. It's not so safe in the Bronx. We got a